Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another online stream. It's Friday again, and I thought, hey, let's go and have a look for another couple of questions of the week. And I found a couple of questions that talked about the SchemaMapper, so I thought, hey, let's do those and see see if we can figure it out what the problem was. So the question I'm looking at first is troubleshoot SchemaMapper transformer setup. I've been trying to import a text file without headers to FileGeoDatabase using the SchemaMapper to rename the columns. So basically we've got a CSV file, text file, whatever, with no column names. So it should say, oh, that's a transformer, we don't want that. Here's the reader. Okay, so that's just reading CSV, it doesn't know what it is. So it's, maybe that is the SchemaMapper as well. Whatever. The point is, so what I need to do, I guess, is find a data set that's got CSV. And what I'm going to do is, let's see, what do we got that would be CSV in here? Election, no. Culture, there's definitely something in here. Let's have a look. Drinking fountains, that's a pretty good one. Drinking fountains under GPS, I should have guessed, really. And a walking trail as well. So GPS, oops. Yeah, I keep using Notepad. That's interesting. I don't know why it's got a it's got an extra line break in there. So I'm going to clear that up first. I mean, really all I'm going to do with this is cut the top line out and put it into a different file. And that way I'll have the list that I can turn into a lookup table for my SchemaMapper. Okay, we're there in a sec, I hope. Can't be many more of these, can there? Oh, well, yeah, there can be quite a few. Getting there. Oops. Don't know why this had this problem anyway. Oh, the life of a data monger, or whatever we call ourselves, munger. Drinking fountains, there we go. Let's put that. Go to the end, there we go. Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to cut out the header like so and save this as headerless drinking fountains. And then I'm going to paste that to there. Okay, so let's read the drinking fountains into FME. Where are we? There we go. So parameters, we don't have any field names, so can we set that to 0? Yep, there we go. So col 0 to col 6. And that's pretty much what the user's got in this scenario. Let's make sure this ran okay, or runs okay. Okay, so that looks correct. We've got, I don't know what column 6 is meant to be, but it's certainly zeros. I'm not even sure I know what the other fields are either. But that will tell us in in here, X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, fair enough. So we had col0 becomes fountain ID. So the idea is for a schema mapper is we just need to, well, a schema mapper can do various things. A schema mapper can map the names of columns, or the schema mapper can map the value of columns. And in this case, we're mapping the names of columns. But there's another, there's another question I saw that wanted to map the values of them. So maybe we'll have a look at that later. But this is, let's see, name, col name map dot CSV. Okay, so to turn that into actual fields, we need to put the schema mapper down. Schema mapper. And we are saying, let's look at this mapping table. This time, see, I should have put a header in there. One of the others got to have it in. So we're going to call that old column, comma, new column, or field, whatever we wanted to call it. Let's just cancel that and try again. And this time, yes, the names are on the first line, like so. So what I'm trying to do here is just get this to work. I'm not really looking at what the user's done so far. I just want to look at if I can get it to work. And if I can, then I'll look at what their problem might be. And I've already got a couple of ideas what might be the problem. So we're doing a feature type map. And we are mapping old column to new column. Like that. Click finish. And is it meant? See, maybe that's where the user is getting confused, because I'm not sure it's meant to show the results directly or not. Use a scheme for domain mapping, dynamic translations. Yeah, really, this is more of a we don't want filters. It's more of a dynamic thing. I think that might be the problem and why there's some confusion. I just want to make sure, because yes, I mean, it would make sense if that could show. So yeah, we're just mapping old columns to new columns. Actually, is there an option to say, see, if I go to what the user showed, I'm sure there was an option there that said, do you want to copy or replace? And maybe that's where it comes from. Oh, I'm mapping feature types. No wonder I'm having problems. Ha! And now my computer's slowing down too much, or my mouse is not working. I think my mouse sometimes fails when I get it too far away from the... Okay, let's try this, shall we? Old column, new column. Let's remove the original attributes. Okay, finish. That doesn't seem right, does it? Because if I said to remove the old... See, I guess this was always the concern about trying to do someone's solution live, is that I might not get it to work myself. Case-sensitive field names. I wonder if we can try no on that. Well, that's all in the CSV reader. And it is col 0 to col 6. Delimiter, auto, doesn't really matter. That looks correct. If it's col 0, it becomes fountain ID. And we're removing the source attributes, and that's certainly not removing the source attributes. What happens if I run that? Huh. Okay, so it looks like we've got the right content on the feature itself. It's just that the view here hasn't been updated. And I don't really think there's a way that we can do that. But it's got fountain ID, location, maintainer, which is what we had in here. Object ID, X, Y, and Z. So what I guess we would do now if we wanted to write it to something else would be, we would make it dynamic. Let's write it to shapefile. Don't ask why, I just picked it at random. Okay, we are going to use dynamic. And where are we going to get that schema from? We are going to have to let's see. So where I've got this, I'm going to make a copy of that and get rid of the old column part. And save that as dynamic schema.csv. Sorry, just looking at something on the other page. Okay, so that's my dynamic schema. Let's see if we can use that. I'm going to have to add reader as resource. Dynamic scheme. We don't. Oh yeah, new column, I guess that's what we'll call it. I hope I'm doing this right. It's been a while since I used dynamic schema. Schema definition name. That could be interesting. It might say it can't find a schema for that. Huh. I suspect I'm making this way more complicated than it needs to be. Well, we got something. Let's inspect that with the data inspector. Will it have any fields on it? No, it won't. What am I doing wrong? Man, I seem to be having a real bad day today. Let's see, dynamic schema. I think I might need to look up the help for this. It has just been so long and I'm just like, oh, okay, I can't remember. I think I probably have to define the field type. Let's Destination schema feature, dynamic workspaces. Very dynamic. I swear I probably wrote some of this, or because yeah, I mean, it's using a demo data that I created. Okay, so if that, we're trying to get that from the feature type, and we want to call it CSV. I mean, it's the same name. It should. And that's going to be null. Dimension doesn't matter because it's null geometry. I'm going to run that again. Ha 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 ha. Let's get rid of that. Okay, now close that because it's obviously the problem. Okay, so it is invalid geometry type selected. Shapefiles not supported, only as null geometries within a file. Wow, what am I doing here? Besides making a mess of this, it's called it new column. Okay, so this is me making a complete mess of this. So maybe the best thing I can do at this point is lock it up in the community. I'm just struggling with the specification for the lookup for the schema table on the output. It should not be this difficult. Find from a lookup table. Okay. Okay, creating a table-based schema. Row for each attribute. Feature type name. Right, it needs more than. Okay, so we're going to call this FT name. That could be it as well. Okay, so feature type name is going to be CSV for all of these. Just because I read it using the feature type, the file type as the feature type name. Attribute name, attribute type. Let's see. FME varchar, that's probably going to. I just want to get it to work. Yeah, this is another one I should remember because I probably wrote this. FME null. Okay, so we're going to go with geom type, comma order. That's going to be FME null, comma 1. What have we got there? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's my dynamic schema. Oh, see, I shouldn't even be reading the. I should be adding the reader as a resource, but not as a CSV, as a schema from table. I can't believe attribute name, at a type, geometry type, attribute sequence, not that it really matters. Okay. Schema from table. So we have two readers now. I'm going to get rid of that CSV one, so we don't need that. This comes back to dynamic. Schema from table. And now, if I still got it open, okay, it's still open. It's probably not going to like that. Yeah, let's just rerun the whole thing. I saw red. Fatal error encountered. FME null is not a valid FME geometry type. Well, I might beg to differ about that. But it obviously hasn't written that data out. So what should it be? What have we got here? FME underscore no underscore geom. Where are we? FME underscore no underscore geom. And a good old copy and paste. Remember to save it. And we'll rerun. Okay, well, that seemed to go better. We didn't have any errors. See, I haven't even looked at the user's issue yet. I'm still trying to get this to work, which is my bad. It really is. It's Friday afternoon, you know. There we go. Fountain ID, location maintainer, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we got it working. So we know it works. So I can do that. I can do some schema mapping, and I can write that out. And yeah, that was happy. So let me go back to what the user was having a problem with, because again, I really think it was. See, that looks correct. Yeah, I see. I think this is their problem. Columns aren't being renamed, so I think I'm going to have to respond there and say I think they are getting renamed. If you inspect them at this point, they have been renamed. It's just that that bit's not been removed. I'm sort of surprised because I really thought that would update automatically, especially if we're removing. Oh, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, so I mean, this is just to run through the SchemaMapper. So we've got a bunch of attributes, column 0 to column 6. We've got a lookup table. So there's old column and new column. In fact, you know what? We could. There's no reason why we couldn't merge these two together and put it all in the same table and do it that way. I'm not going to, but we could. So I've got that lookup table, and I just say, hey, let's read that and map some attributes. So I did an attribute map and said, okay, whatever's in the old column gets renamed to whatever's in the new column. That's the lookup table. But the important thing was we had to, again, I've got the shapefile open, so it doesn't like that. So yeah, we just had to set it as dynamic and said, okay, the schema's not coming from in the file this time. it's coming from somewhere else. And in this case, I just created that schema with as variable character length. And yeah, so it all worked out there in the end. So really that's all you need to worry about. And if you know what the attributes are, you can probably add them in here. You probably don't even need to have that reader. In fact, I could probably turn off the dynamic. Well, okay, I definitely can just turn off the dynamic and say, what do we call them? Fountain ID location. Fountain ID location maintainer. I'm just going to do that. So yeah, I've just made it manual, and even that should work now. If I come back to here and inspect, did that get updated? Yeah, so we should just get 3 fields now because that's all I had. There we go. So, I mean, that makes it easier, I guess, on this user, is that you don't need to make it dynamic if you don't want to. If you know the attributes, you can just import them. You can import the schema manually, set it up manually, you could import it from somewhere else, that sort of thing. And we don't need that dynamic schema now. So, well, that was interesting. That was a lot of effort to answer one single question. I didn't do that particularly well, I've got to say. But hey, we got there in the end. Okay, so there was another one that mentioned the SchemaMapper as well. And this was wanting to replace data in multi-attributes to multiple strings of text. I have multiple columns of data that return a yes or no value. I'm only really concerned with the yes value. Is there a multiple string replacer transformer I can use? So let me just fire up another workbench. And I'm going to use my favorite data set, the Parks. So, let's find that. Data, Parks, Parks.tab. So in here, we have got things like dog park, N, washrooms N, special features N, or Y, as the case may be. So what we can do is we can map those. But as we noticed in that question, the string replacer, it works on multiple attributes, special features and washrooms, but it's a single text replace. We can't do multiple replacement pieces of text. I can't say, if it has yes, then say this is a dog park or this is a washroom. I can't do this. This won't work. So the string replacer, it really needs to be a sort of table view, I guess, to be able to do that. So what somebody suggested was a conditional value option, and that's probably the best one we've got there. Just to run through that will be in an attribute manager normally. And we could say dog park, conditional value, if dog park equals Y, then this has a dog park. And we could do the same thing with the washrooms. We can say make it conditional if washrooms equals Y. I can say this park has washrooms. And that'll work. And the same thing with special features as well. But I can run that. And that might be the quickest way of doing it, to be honest. There we go. This park has washrooms. And this has a dog park. So that worked fine. So really, that's probably the answer that you would want to go for. But if you had a lot of those to do, I can see why, as Hans in the Netherlands mentioned, I think the SchemaMapper should be able to do this, but I'd struggle to tell you exactly how, and this is what I'm about to do. I'm about to struggle and tell you how it should do it. But I think, okay, I'm even less sure I know how this is done, but I'm very confident that I can do this. So let's see. I think what we need to do is, I think we need to have we need a query. We need a filter. I'm going to have to figure that out. So attribute mapping, feature type mapping, filters, and I'm sure we can do, let's go back to this. Let me make sure. I mean, maybe this transformer can't do that, but I could swear that, yeah, we could create new attribute, I think, and make that do something. No, yeah, so name and then value. So we would have to, let's see, I'm just going to dog park, yes, becomes dog park description, which is this park has a dog park. And I'm going to make this, let's see, what was it? It was just washrooms, wasn't it? Washrooms. Washrooms. And I should probably put some title in here, some header lines. So we'll say original field value, new field, new value. Okay, I'm going to save that as Dataparks park lookup.csv. Okay, let's see if we can figure this out, because I'm sure it is possible. Park lookup.csv. Is that what I had? Original, yeah, there we go. Okay, so here we can do a new attribute. Attribute field name is new field, and the attribute value is new value. But I think we want to add a filter option on there. Say if original field is yes. See, what worries me here is that, can I move that up? This makes me think we can't do multiple things at the same time either. I'm going to see what comes out here. It might not be any good at all. Okay, so what did we get? So did we get dog park description? No. Did we get washroom? Ah, there, it did seem to work. Huh. Wow. I'm sort of stunned, to be honest. Washrooms is yes. Washroom description. This park has washrooms. Dog park. This park is a dog park. This park has washrooms. It's got both. That one's got both. That one's got washrooms. What's this one? That should be dog park. This park is a dog park and it has no washrooms. Wow, so that actually did work. Against all the odds, I would say, because I was a bit concerned I wasn't going to get that right. So you filter it and say, if the original field has the value, so if they are yes, then set the new attributes. Actually, let's try and say, do another one. Let's go back into here and copy those two lines and say if it's no, this park has no dog park. This park has no washrooms. So going back to here, I believe I should be able to add another filter. Maybe not. Maybe it just needs to be the same filter. Let's run it and find out. Rerun, I guess. Okay, so this park has no dog park, and the washrooms are missing, so it didn't do anything with that. This park has no washrooms, no dog park. This park has no dog park, but it has washrooms. That one should have both. And that one has both. And that is a yes and a missing. That's a yes and a no. There we go. Has a dog park, no washrooms. So it worked. I'm quite pleased with that. I wonder if we can. I'm looking to see what happens. Like, is there a way that we can say that there's got a field missing? Blank attribute values, don't ignore. I wonder what difference that makes. So, but it doesn't know what to do with that. That's what I wonder about. I mean, ideally, you would deal with this beforehand. You would, I don't know, put a null attribute mapper. Yeah. And say if the dog park or washrooms is basically null, empty, or missing, then you map it to a new value called unknown, and then go back into the SchemaMapper and say, okay, well, if those attributes are unknown, then we can put we don't know if this has a dog park, and we don't know if this has washrooms. So now if we run this again, so yeah, so now it doesn't have missing, it just has unknown, and there we go. So we that one still says unknown for some reason. Oh no, yeah, sorry, unknown is what it mapped it to. I was confused by the missing part there. So so yeah, that question there about can the SchemaMapper be able to do that? Yes, it can. You can say when the cut value is yes, you say cut grass to 100 millimeters. The same way that I just did. When it's yes, you can say this park is a dog park, and that's how we would do that. And again, the nice thing is we can do that in one transformer rather than having to do multiple transformers. The other thing I would say I like is, I mean, the attribute manager's fine doing these sort of replacements like conditional value and say, well, if it's, or even like here, we could say dog park description, and I could make this conditional and say if dog park equals yes, then we could say this park has a dog park. And this is great. I mean, it works and it's fine and I like it, but you can imagine if you had lots and lots, like dozens of them like that, it would be very painful to have to go through that in that way. And that's where that's where I think the SchemaMapper scores a bit better, because we can just put this in a text file. Plus, if you're running it on server, you don't even need to edit the workspace. You can just sort of republish the lookup table on server and say, hey, just use this new one. So if I want to make any edits to the label that comes out of here, like I can say this park does have a dog park and doesn't have does have washrooms. I can just save that and the workspace will pick it up automatically. And so I guess that's really another advantage, because if I did want to change it here, I'd have to go into the attribute manager, go to here, open that up, find this, double click there, change it in there, and so on, which again will be a bit of a pain. So the SchemaMapper can be a bit more awkward to set up, but once you've got it running, it's I think it's way quicker. So yeah, and the thing here was the original field and its value, and the new field that we want to create and the new value. And so the first two get used as a filter. So we say if dog park equals yes, then dog park description equals this, and so on. And you can see how we can include that multiple times in here for multiple values, which again makes it a bit more easier than the conditional values in there, because I can just sort of copy paste it really quickly. I mean, I love the conditional values, but I mean sometimes it's just more convenient to do it this way. So the filter features, we just said, okay, where the original field has this value, why is that suddenly turned red? Did I mess up? Ooh, what did I do there? Now, for some reason, it decided the automatic delimiter character just suddenly changed itself. I don't know why. So yeah, so the original field, if it equals the value, then it passes the test. If it passes the test, you can set the new attributes, like so, the new field and the new value. So that is mapping attribute values. The other one that we looked at before was mapping attribute names, and the other one that we can do is a feature type map that maps it from a table name to another table name, like rename parks to something or other. I mean, just as an example of that, we could say if I could just create another one of these. Let's just create another one. We could say original feature type. Oh, actually, no, the original field and value becomes the new feature type. Actually, I could just use the same table, I guess, as before. I don't need to do anything different there, because I can, even though it's got an extra column I don't need. So we've got a filter. If original field equals value, then we set a new feature type and map. What are we going to map? Can we hard code that? I don't think we can. Okay, so we would need to put a new field in there. We'd have to say original feature type. So parks. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm sort of going, I'm off-roading here. This is definitely going outside of what the user was interested in, but... And what are we going to call this? Parks look up to. Let's go back. Parks look up to. Okay, so now we've got if the filter matches, then let's do a feature type map from the original feature type, which should be parks, to, I'm going to call it the new feature type. So basically, hang on, I'm sort of messing this up. I'm trying to demo stuff at the same time. So I'm going to say, I'm going to call this dog park, and we are going to call this park with washrooms. See, I guess this is one where we can't do both of those, so we're going to have to pick one or the other. And let's just do it on dog park. So that's a dog park. That one we'll just call a park, and this one we will call unknown park. Let's go back and try that again. Feature type map, original feature type, new feature type. Edited the wrong column. Let's go back and... Okay, well, I edited the file, so it should be good. We should find that everything gets mapped. So it used to be, it came from the feature type called parks, but now it should go to a different feature type, depending on the whether it's a dog park or not. So FME feature type park, because it doesn't have a dog park. So there's the bit I'm looking at on the right hand side in the info window. And if I can find a dog park, FME feature type dog park, and if it's unknown, which it doesn't look like any of those are, it would come out as unknown park. So now if I write this out to GML for just the sake of example, which GML are we doing? Yeah, that one. I could just write it out to parks.gml. That was a reader. Always doing that. Always look at this and try and pick out which format you want, and then later you realize it was the reader and not the writer. So we're going to write to GML. We're going to write it out to parks.gml. And I'm going to fan out by, instead of calling it parks, we're going to fan out by FME feature type. Oops, wrong button, F5. And now we should find that data set in there, and if I drag it to the data inspector, we should find it's got two feature types in parks and dog parks. There we go. So let's just turn the background map off. So you can see the parks are just the plain purple ones. Are they the purple ones? Yeah. And the yellow ones are the dog parks. So I mean, I guess I could change the color of that to make it a bit more obvious. Just turn them to black. And the dog parks are in purple, and sorry, the non-dog parks are purple. The dog parks are black. So that's sort of like doing a fan out, but it's using a SchemaMapper to do it. So just to go back and show that, what we did, we said let's look for the original value again, which was in this lookup table. So we said if dog park equals y, then change the feature type name from parks to dog park. Really, I don't know why we need to pick the original feature type. Because surely that's a given anyway. But maybe it does another filter on that as well. So yeah, so that's what that does. Yeah. Okay, well that was a very odd look through a couple of SchemaMapper issues, and wow, that first one did really throw me off at first, I got to admit. But yeah, so that if Hans wanted to do that with the SchemaMapper, that was how you do it. Yeah, that first question really threw me off. That's one of those things where you just start up the stream and you say, okay, I'm going live, I'm going to demo this, and then you're like, oh, hang on a minute, how do I do that? So yeah, that took a while there. The other one I wanted to look at was this, but I don't know that I'm going to, because if it took me long enough for the other one, I don't know how long it would take for this. But the idea is that you want to find the nearest neighbor to each of these features, and then once that has been used as a nearest neighbor, you can't use it again. So if 12 is closest to number 2, 11 can't be closest to number 2 as well. It has to be closest to number 1. And I'm not sure how you do that. I think you would have to like do the nearest neighbor, but create the full list of neighbors and work through it. And I think Matt came up with an answer that used a loop. And he says it could be much easier. This seems overly complicated, and it does, but I really can't think of a better way of doing that. Because you want, as soon as you've got the one feature that's a match, the next time you go onto this feature to match, it's like having a loop. You're looping through all of the blue features, and the next feature you get through in that loop, you want to exclude the number 2 orange feature from that list. So you want to exclude it from processing. So I don't see how you cannot do it without a loop. If anyone has any good ideas, jot them down into this question, because I don't really see how that's possible any other way. Yeah, I mean, I guess the other way of doing it, maybe, I don't know how Matt did it because I didn't look through his workspace, but I guess the other way is to just sort of create a list for every of these features of every other match, and then sort through the lists instead of trying to sort through the features. And that might not need a loop in the same way. But yeah, that one, I'd have to have a think about it. It's one of those that sounds really easy, but when you start to look at it, it really isn't that easy at all. So that was that. So that was that. That's hopefully that was interesting, at least, if and useful. You know what? It's Friday afternoon. I am going to edit the stream and say I'm going to do a bit of geoguessing because I can. Bonus GeoGuessr time. Because everybody streams GeoGuessr, and so that's what I'm going to do. The hell with it. It's Friday afternoon. I'm about to finish. I'm just going to go and play the daily challenge, and if anyone is online and wants to watch or play along, yeah, please do. So this is one of my friends. So there must be another FME. Yeah? They've scored 21,000 points. Let me see if I can beat that. We have 3 minutes per challenge, and off we go. Okay. Ooh. Wow. This is interesting. Where the heck? I honestly look at this and think, well, I was thinking US, but maybe not. Maybe it's somewhere Middle Eastern. What does that sign say? Oh, okay. Some sort of Arabic writing. Okay. So we're driving on the right. I'm going to assume it's in the Middle East somewhere. I don't think I'm going to find a town. See, normally I'd look for town names. See, I'd probably be better at this than this. If that might be a town at the top of that hill, if I can get up there in time. And then have to find it on the map. Where am I? I've lost it. There we go. There's something at the top of that hill. I'm going to find out what it is, even if it doesn't help. Okay, come on, quick. Oh. Looks like signs of life. What are we looking at here? Visitor Center, City Center, J&F Grove. Is this Israel? I've got 43 seconds and I still have to pick it out on a map. Beware of falling rocks. That is not particularly helpful. Okay, 26 seconds. I need to start making a pretty quick guess. And I can't read that writing. Got 10 seconds. Where are we? Israel. We're going to say it's up here somewhere. Quick guess. Oh, wow. That was not too bad, all things considering. Wow. I just figured it might be Israel and picked a spot. I should have had a look. I should have gone to look at the map a bit quicker. But hey. Okay, this looks European, almost British, but Sharky construction. Now, would this be British or would it be Irish? Because I've got a feeling it's definitely in the British Isles somewhere. I can't see that license plate. Oh, I think that looks Irish. I would need a town name. Why does it put me on stupid little roads like this? Where did I just come from? And what does that say? Okay, I'm not going to see that. Hopefully this isn't the way I just came. It might have been, you know. Okay, it's not getting me anywhere, that's for sure. This looks very Irish to me. Very remote countryside. I knew it. Back where I started from, I could have just gone there in the first place. See, I always go the wrong direction, and now we're in a town. There's the church. Yeah. Cool Methodist church. Cool. Okay, this is going to be another wild guess, but I'm pretty sure it's in Ireland. Ooh, see, like big place, and now I'm just that little bit too late to make use of it, I think. Okay, business park. So, it's got to be somewhere close to a big town. I'm going to say Dublin. Quick guess. Isle of Man. Woo! Okay, well, not a million miles away. Ooh, is this Dubai in the... I think it must be, assuming I've got my geography correct. Mall of the Emirates. Okay, well that gives me a good start. Dubai or Abu Dhabi? I'm assuming... sometimes it's Friday. Like that tower. I know the tower. Where is that? Dubai or is it Abu Dhabi? I don't like my geography of this area is very poor. Oh, there's Cricket Stadium. That must be where the T20 is going on. Oh man, I should really get this. Just I could be in totally the wrong place. Jumeirah. Okay, Jumeirah. Okay, so that's here. I got to be on this main road somewhere. Emirates Tower. Burj Khalifa. That's what I was looking for. So let's get back to where we were. Okay, so that's north of where I am. Direct north of where I am. So mine must be on this road about here. Now, is that going to be good enough for a... What have we got there? Oh, Police Academy. Am I in the right place there? Oh, 11 seconds. I'm going to have to go with this. Because I've not got a pro account right now. I've got to wait. Police Academy. Is that Police Academy 1 or 2 or 3? Oh, man. That was miles out. Well, not miles, I guess, but... Huh. See, I thought that tall building was there. So the fact I'm over here and it says it was north Maybe north in a different direction. Anyway, there's a Dubai Police Academy. Still over 4,900 points, and oh dear, that's going to end. Wow. It's got to be South America somewhere, I would think. Atacama. Ah, there you go. Aikina. SP to Atacama. Road numbers would be nice. This should be a relatively easy one to get some good points on today. Kalama and Aikina. Now we're just going to find the Atacama Desert, which would be Bolivia. I totally forgot what those place names were. Kalama, Aikina. Oh, minute 40. Let's see. It's got to be fairly remote. Sometimes my geography is just not too... Okay, it's got to be in here, surely. Yeah, we must be way too far south by now. Okay, it's got to be the east. Surely it's got to be the east side of the mountains. Oh, great. 10 seconds left. 5. There. Ooh. Oh, that one's really cost me. $2,000. Oh. Should have known it was in Chile. Okay, what do we got here? Volvos. Looks Scandinavian, could we say? Not just because of the Volvos, but yes, there is another Volvo. And that sort of looked like a Swedish license plate, as much as I know what a Swedish license plate looks like. Oh, interesting. Oh, well, that must be just a traffic calming. I thought the... Where are we? Centrum. Okay. 164, 166. Hotel Delsland. Norsmark. Okay. 164 and 166. I'd say it looks reasonably south. Oh, it's going to be really tough to find those roads. This could be total guess. Road numbers doing 134, 212. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? Okay, national parks. Where's it going? Let's see. Let's make a random guess and say we are in Hebe. And we're not, strangely enough. Excuse me. We are in Ed. Oops. Yep, there's the 164 and the 166. Ah, well. That fourth one really. No, I got 20,000 points. I'm happy. That's it's pretty rare. I get a 20,000 point one. I mean, I don't believe this guy got to within 0 meters in 4 seconds. Yeah, just a bit of a con going on there. 4,548 for the first 492. Yeah, that one. If I got a bit closer, 2,200, almost would have got the gold medal for that. But anyway. I think I'll stop now. Thanks for watching this today. If you did, I hope the SchemaMapper was of use to you. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you sometime next week. Have a great weekend, folks.